Virgie Goes to School with Us Boys by Elizabeth Fitzgerald Howard. Illustrated by E. B. Lewis. Virgie was always begging to go to school with us boys. All summer long, she kept asking and asking. School's too far, Nelson said. School's too long, Will said. School's too hard, George said. And you too little, Val said. I'm big enough. Tell them, Cece, Virgie said to me. Virgie, Val kept right on, you scarcely big as a field mouse. And school's 7 miles from here. That's one long, long walk. And besides, Nelson added, we have to live at school all week. You couldn't do that. You'd be crying for Mama and all. Nelson, you know I won't be crying for Mama. Virgie stamped her foot. Well, anyways, Nelson continued, there's hardly any girls that go. Girls don't need school. That's not so, Nelson, I said. Girls like to read and write and do arithmetic too, just like us boys. Now, didn't I tell you about our school? For 2 years, that's us boys. That's George and Will and Nelson and Val and me, Cece. Been schooling at a place started by some folks who love the Lord. Quakers, they call themselves. They opened a school for black people after Mr. Lincoln declared us free like we ought to be. And I was beginning to wonder, what about Virgie? She was free too. Couldn't she go to school with us boys? Summertime going by, 1 week gone, and then another, with Virgie asking and asking. Virgie picking pole beans or weighing grain for Papa. Virgie sewing quilt squares or stirring soap for Mama. Virgie always asking, Papa, Mama, can I go too? Can I go to school? Virgie, you'd be all tuckered out just getting there, Will said. Raw head and bloody bones might grab you in those woods on the way, Nelson said. Eat up a little old girl. But Virgie never blinked an eye. She kept right on asking, till one day in the fields, Papa said, Boys, Virgie, me and your ma been thinking. All free people need learning. Old folks, young folks, small girls too. Virgie, next school time you can go. You can go to school with the boys. Summer over. Harvest in. School time here. Sunday night, everything ready. Clean pair of underdrawers for each of us. Extra shirt too. And food for the whole week long. Everything ready. But Nelson was frowning. Virgie's too little, he said. Monday morning early, Mama cooked us big bowls of cornmeals. She cooked eggs too. Papa led our prayers, safe journey, clear minds, and thanks to the good Lord for our own school. Take care of Virgie, Papa said after prayer time, and take care of each other. Giving orders, George took the lead. Not too fast. Stay in a line. We passed by our barn and Papa's mill, then cut through Mr. McKinney's field. Virgie, keep up now, Val said. Past old Mr. Smith's farm, around Dickinson's pond. Whoa, Virgie, careful there, Will said. That's poison ivy. Up one hill and down another, up and down, down to the creek. We took off our shoes, rolled up our pant legs, and stepped real careful on the upping stones. The cold water woke our hot, tired feet. Virgie held her skirt with one hand, her shoes and bucket with the other. Then all of a sudden, she was sliding and slipping. "Watch out, Virgie," I yelled, trying to grab her, but splash, in the creek she went. "Now she'll cry," Nelson grumbled. But she didn't. Virgie was laughing. "It's a warm day," she said. "My skirt will dry." Virgie's all right, I thought. "Let's go," said George. "Hurry up," said Will. "It's looking like rain." Just when we were coming to the woods, it's thick and leafy in there, dark even when the sun's bright, and it's too quiet, but that's not the worst part. Rawhead and Bloody Bones. Didn't I tell you about Rawhead and Bloody Bones? Get you if you're not good, folks said. Might get you anyway. "Don't be scared, Virgie," I told her. "I'm not scared," she said, but she held my hand tight. Nobody talked. We just walked, silent except for twigs crackling. Trees leaned over us. Shadows got darker. A branch snatched the whole of my shirt, and my heart quit beating. Then Virgie whispered, "Let's sing." "Just like a girl," Nelson said. But pretty soon he was singing too. "Go down, Moses," and "Oh, freedom," and "Eyes have seen the glory," and all the songs we could think of. The walk went faster, seemed not so dark. Soon we were out of the woods and away from old Rawhead and Bloody Bones. Across one field and then another. Almost there, Virgie, almost to town. We passed by the inn and the courthouse and the churches and all the shops as we followed Main Street to the top of the hill. "Do you see it, Virgie? Do you see it?" We were almost shouting. Big, red brick, long high windows and a wide open door. Our very own school. Mr. Warner, the headmaster, came out to greet us. "Welcome, boys. George, William, Valentine, Nelson, Cornelius," that's me, Cece. "Glad to see you back. And who is this fine young lady here? Your sister?" "Yes, sir. This is Virgie," George said. "Virgie, speak up to Mr. Warner." "Good morning, sir," Virgie said. "Virgie's pretty smart for a girl, Mr. Warner," Nelson said. Nelson said that. "Come look, Virgie," I said, pulling her inside with me. "See all the desks? See all the books?" Virgie was staring at everything, especially the bookcase. "So many books," she said. She touched one softly with her hand. "Someday I'll read all these books." Already, Virgie was seeming bigger. "When we go home on Friday, Cece," she said, "we'll tell Mama and Papa all we've learned. That way might seem like they've been to school too, learning to be free, just like us."